A delinquent visits the Masawatori uniform shop, ordering a gakuran with specific measurements. Collar 6 centimeters, length 130 centimeters, hemline about 20 centimeters above the knees, proudly declaring it makes him look unbeatable. He continues detailing the uniform specs: 5 buttons on the sleeve, elitist purple lining inside, dokkan hem 51 centimeters, and the other part 58 centimeters long. The delinquent intimidates the old shopkeeper, insisting that true men should wear long jackets. The terrified old man nervously agrees while fixing the boy's hair. A massive man in white, Hanayama Kaoru, suddenly enters the shop, dwarfing everyone present. The owner greets him respectfully. The shopkeeper is shocked that Hanayama Kaoru, the absolute top of the delinquent world, also shops here. Hanayama reveals an incredible full-body tattoo. Hanayama's uniform required 10 times the normal amount of fabric due to his enormous physique. The owner compliments the fit, calling it classy. Hanayama approves with "great job" and leaves. A younger delinquent nervously requests a standard-made uniform too. The younger delinquent points to a pre-made rack and politely asks for a standard-made uniform. The owner enthusiastically agrees. A Tokyo detective visits Kurawashi School regarding a transfer student, Hanayama Kaoru, age 15, standing imposingly outside. Young Hanayama at 15 is introduced, smoking, wearing a gakuran, with already scarred iron-like hands. The detective presents a legal permit to the school principal, who asks, "Particular animals?" A second official looks on. The detective explains the permit authorizes keeping dangerous beasts on premises, implying Hanayama is as dangerous as a lion or tiger, and questions whether the school should double as a zoo. The principal thanks the detective, calmly deducing the visit concerns Hanayama Kaoru, then laughs it off. The principal dismisses concerns, saying Hanayama is merely a 15-year-old boy, though the detective insists he's heard how intimidating he is. The principal defends the school's 80-year academic tradition, acknowledges students may be physically weak, but emphasizes strict discipline as a counterbalance. The principal hints at something unbelievable, the school's hidden tradition, while Hanayama is seen outside intimidating other students with just his presence. 2 combat-trained teachers are revealed: PE teacher Amano, Judo 5th Dan, and literature teacher Masuda, Kendo 7th Dan, Karate 4th Dan, the school's secret disciplinary force against delinquents. The principal assures the detective there is 0 tolerance for bullying and instructs him to prevent any student from getting close to Hanayama. Both the delinquent students and the school's fighter teachers are shown in a dramatic standoff, with the principal adding a final warning to the detective. The principal reveals that Kurawashi's delinquents are on a whole different level from other schools, a secret nobody else knows, as on that very day, Hanayama walks alone into a gauntlet of thugs lining both sides of the corridor. Kenichi Haga, a 3rd year who just returned from a month-long suspension for smoking, is mistaken by everyone for someone important. He panics internally, realizing all these thugs are treating him with extreme deference, thinking he's somebody else. Haga is terrified. The moment his true identity is discovered, he believes he'll be killed on the spot. Meanwhile, delinquents cheerfully offer him a taxi to school, already paid, treating him like a VIP. Haga is escorted into a car headed to Kurawashi High School. As the car speeds off, he breaks into cold sweat, realizing the delinquents lining the streets all know exactly who he really is. Haga panics completely. "They know me!" As the flashback reveals, the detective had warned the principal that Hanayama is worse than having lions roaming free, and that the school must prepare an armed response to any incident. Back in Class 1A, 2 delinquents are collecting donations to celebrate Haga's return to school, going classroom to classroom demanding contributions. The collectors reject 10-yen coins as insufficient. A mysterious large figure in the classroom silently holds out coins, drawing everyone's attention with the command, "Take a look." The enormous figure, Hanayama, is sitting crammed into a tiny school desk, prompting a stunned, "Wow, this is a huge dude," from onlookers. The collectors are shocked that such a giant is still in 1st grade. One tries to punch Hanayama to wake him, thinking he's sleeping, then shouts, "Wait!" as the other lunges at him with a blade.
The collector shouts, "Hey, don't sleep in school!" and swings at Hanayama, calling him a stupid first grader. But Hanayama barely reacts, his scarred hand gripping the attacker's arm.
Both collectors freeze in terror as Hanayama slowly turns his massive head toward them, his eyes dead and overwhelming. They sweat profusely in pure fear. Hanayama simply asks, Donations? The two scramble to explain it's for Mr. Haga's return, desperately trying to stop what they started.
Hanayama rises and looms over them in the hallway, asking, "Donations? What for?" The terrified collectors stammer, "For Mr. Haga's return?" as Hanayama's sheer presence crushes them. Hanayama dismisses the situation, tells them, "You don't have to worry about it," then asks calmly, "His return to school, huh?" The collector's face goes pale, and the other scrambles for the donation box.
"I'm sorry, that's all I have on me right now," smashes a coin into the donation box with his iron hand and tells them, "Give my regards to Mr. Haga." Both collectors' eyes go wide in sheer terror as they realize the name on the donation box reads Second Generation Leader, Hanayama Group, Hanayama Kaoru.
The collectors explode. "The Hanayama Group? Where'd you get this?" One beats the other, screaming, "You fucking idiot!" explaining that Hanayama Kaoru could crush every gang and delinquent in the whole nation, and that you need to know his name before acting tough. Haga, running through the school in a panic, recalls the morning's events. He now understands Hanayama recognized him as the school's top dog before he even knew it, and resolves to immediately apologize and surrender the title of most badass boss, or risk being killed without warning. Haga sprints desperately toward classroom 1A, determined to apologize no matter what. Students in the halls look on in shock as Hanayama stands calmly outside, already waiting. Haga throws himself prostrate on the ground, wallet open, deeply apologizing. Hanayama stands over him and says coolly, "They didn't know your identity or your family name. We made a huge mistake. You can be the one that will rule the whole school from now on." Hanayama tells Haga, "You can raise your head. It's okay," and declares he will never accept back money or kindness he gives out, nor does he intend to rule the school. Hanayama draws a parallel between their situations. Both are returning to school, one from suspension, one from a jail sentence. Then makes one final request: never salute or bow to him again.
Hanayama solemnly shakes hands with the school founder's statue, paying his respects and declaring his intent to live these years as a proper, normal student.
The detective warns the principal that a fierce wild beast is now roaming among other students. Meanwhile, Hanayama gently holds a bird in his scarred hand, resolved to enjoy his school life properly.
A confrontation begins. A delinquent named Imori corners Hanayama, quoting back his own words, "Punks like you aren't scary at all," and asking if he can back that up. His crew circles around, daring him to fight. Imori lights a cigarette and challenges Hanayama to prove his words with his fists. Hanayama simply exhales as the group squares off against him in an empty lot. Hanayama calmly flicks away his cigarette butt midair, and as the gang attacks with weapons, his clothes get slashed. Yet he remains completely composed and unfazed. Hanayama single-handedly intercepts and deflects multiple weapon attacks simultaneously, disarming his attackers with bare hands. Bystanders watch in stunned disbelief.
My fists? No, you've got it all wrong. You and I are living in completely different worlds. I'm not just some punk, and that's why you guys don't scare me.
Hanayama turns his back on the group, saying he has no interest in playing games with them, but offers calmly, "If you guys ever want to have a fight, please." Hanayama walks away with "any time" as the defeated group stares after him. The scene shifts to him observed alone at school, his cold eyes scanning the surroundings. A full-page shot of Hanayama Kaoru walking through the city streets alone in his school uniform, massive, silent, and untouchable.
Imori's crew regroups and reflects on what just happened. Fighting with weapons like that? It's not even fair. Imori retorts that truly strong men don't care about fairness, which
which is exactly why Hanayama terrifies them. The scene shifts to a weapon-filled room where the new antagonist, Imori Koichi, sits back in a chair surrounded by blades and weapons, thinking, "Hanayama Kaworu, you've made a mistake. It's just as I thought." Imori muses that Hanayama's way would be fine in the Stone Age, but this is the 21st century, as he puts on a spiked helmet and chainmail gloves, preparing something lethal. A love note addressed to Hanayama Kaworu is seen near a shoe locker. Inside the shoes are dozens of live mice as a trap. Imori's voice narrates, "I've been studying you. You really are an outrageous man." Imori wonders aloud, a master of bare-handed fighting? The strongest fighter in all of Japan? As Hanayama is shown walking through the school locker area, completely oblivious. The mice in his locker writhe as Hanayama's fist moves toward them.
Hanayama crushes the mice bare-handed without flinching. Imori, watching the result, notes, "Trying to go through life with nothing but your bare hands? That's very chivalrous." Students and onlookers react in shock as Imori deploys a taser wrapped in chain and mice. Hanayama grabs the electrified weapon directly with his bare hand, prompting Imori's stunned comment, "You've got incredible grip strength." Imori marvels at Hanayama's feats, tearing a chunk out of a deck of cards, twisting 500 yen coins, acknowledging they're amazing, but concludes, those things are all still human. Imori studies Hanayama's scarred, iron-hard hands closely, questioning aloud whether that level of grip strength is even necessary, genuinely wondering what it's for. Hanayama sits in class, hands folded, as Imori continues his internal monologue. Such grip strength isn't necessary for survival. All you really need is the strength to support your own weight, hold a glass, carry a bag. Imori notes there's one more small yet oh-so-important thing, as a girl calls out to Hanayama cheerfully in the hallway, hinting at something coming next. Imori walks into the classroom carrying a crossbow, announcing, "The shoebox and door traps, the grip strength to pull a trigger? Pretty subtle, right? That's all you really need to survive." Imori tells the class there are 10 minutes before class, then asks everyone to step outside so he and Hanayama can have a man-to-man talk, with the crossbow aimed and ready. Students file out in shock. Imori declares, "Hanayama and I need to have a little talk," keeping his crossbow trained while the classroom empties. Imori warns everyone out, saying he doesn't want to point the crossbow at anyone except Hanayama. Students scramble out in a panic as the tension escalates. The classroom empties completely. Imori and Hanayama face each other alone. Imori notes, "I figured you'd attack me right away, but a surprise attack would be unfair." Hanayama simply says, "Oh?" "That's just like you, Hanayama. Bravery, huh? Or could it be you're just scared stiff to be on the other side of this crossbow?" Imori boasts that his handmade crossbow has a draw weight of 450 pounds, delivering 209 kilograms of force per bolt, enough to completely penetrate a 200-kilogram deer at point-blank range. Imori demonstrates the bolt's lethal power with a graphic visual of it piercing clean through a large deer, then turns to Hanayama. "You get what that means, right?" Imori presses the crossbow against Hanayama and shouts, "Don't move!" insisting the bolt will pierce him regardless of how invulnerable he is, calling it hard data, not legend. Hanayama steps forward anyway. Imori screams, "Don't take even one more step," and threatens to fire. But Hanayama holds his gaze steadily, daring Imori, "Allow me to prove you wrong." Hanayama tears open his uniform to reveal a full arsenal, shotgun, handgun, swords, grenades, and more, strapped across his massive tattooed torso. Imori recoils in shock. Imori screams, "You're not unarmed at all, are you?" As Hanayama coolly confirms every weapon is real, calling himself a gun nut, while the word unarmed echoes in disbelief. Imori sweats as he lists the weapons: shotgun, handgun, swords, even a grenade. Then Hanayama deadpans.
Seems like you're a bit worried since all you have is that crossbow. Sorry, but this is all that I have on me.
Imori stares in shock as Hanayama grabs the crossbow bolt. Hanayama reveals he prepared all these weapons specifically just in case a student wanted to fight me, then tosses the entire arsenal crashing to the floor in front of Imori.
Imori, stunned. You got all of this just to fight students? Hanayama calmly declares, that stuff isn't for me, dropping every weapon to the ground, choosing to fight bare-handed after all. A full-page reveal of Hanayama's back, bare, massively muscled, covered in his intricate Yakuza tattoo, as he sits Seiza on the classroom floor, stripped of all weapons, ready to face Imori with nothing but his bare hands.
Hanayama tells Imori to go ahead and grab any weapon he wants and use them as much as he likes. Then, when he's done, to let him know. Imori sweats and trembles in pure terror facing Hanayama's tattooed back. Imori shakes violently as Hanayama sits Seiza, completely bare-chested, radiating an overwhelming aura. Imori is frozen, unable to attack despite holding the crossbow. Imori's teeth chatter uncontrollably as he stammers, I'm sorry! His body giving out completely from sheer terror. Hanayama remains still. Imori screams, "No, no, no!" and desperately pleads for forgiveness as Hanayama slowly rises and closes in on him. Hanayama delivers a single devastating blow that sends Imori crashing into the floor. Hanayama tells Imori to clean up all the weapons. If someone sees this, we'll get in trouble, and orders him to hurry up. A stunned Imori scrambles to comply. Normal school morning with students arriving. Then, a delinquent with bleached hair is suddenly and violently struck down in the street. The attacker, a large, muscular adult in a tracksuit, delivers a brutal kick that sends the student flying. Bystanders watch in shock as the man smirks. Wow, that must have hurt. The attacker calmly orders the downed student to stand up. The scene shows them outside the school entrance as other students look on. The attacker, revealed to be a new teacher, asks the bleached hair student whether he plans to wash the dye out of his hair, giving him an ultimatum. Fix it today or face a worse beating tomorrow. The student answers yes, quietly. The teacher Takayama tells him if he fixes it, his friends may laugh, but if he shows up with bleached hair again, I'll beat you again. He calls the recent smacks not so bad, but warns the next time will be far worse. Takayama threatens to cave your face in if the student comes back looking the same. The student goes silent and pale. Takayama dismisses him with, "You're excused," fist open. The student walks away defeated. Takayama warns his fist will be waiting for your decision tomorrow. Onlookers question what's going on with this license. A shout is heard from above. "Hey, what's with that skirt?" A flashback explains the context. A teacher named Kurigami, age 29, was beaten to death by 3 of his own students, with cause of death being skull fracture and multiple organ ruptures. The backstory continues. Kurigami had scolded the students for bad attitudes, leading to violent retaliation. The primary suspect stated he shouldn't have pissed us off. The Ministry of Education took the incident very seriously. In response, the government decided to begin issuing official corporal punishment licenses. To qualify, teachers needed a written test, at least 6 years of teaching experience, a formal interview, and one final requirement. The final requirement was a combat exam, a one-on-one fight. Through intense debate, fighting teachers, equipped with both brains and brawn, were born, the world's first of their kind. Back in the present, the new fighting teacher, Takayama, catches a girl with a too short skirt near the school gate and delivers a hard physical reprimand on the spot, showing no mercy even to girls, ordering her to fix it by tomorrow. Takayama looms over the shaken girl and warns her, "Or else, that face of yours is gonna get slapped." The girl trembles as he dismisses her, his cold eyes watching as she hurries away. Takayama watches the girl leave, then turns his sharp gaze elsewhere with a calm, well, introducing himself as a new and dangerous presence at the school, ready to enforce discipline by force. Hanayama Kaworu arrives at school, observed by excited onlookers saying, "He's here!"
And this is getting good. The school principal panics, worrying about letting those two meet, while an older administrator calmly says, "Let's just see, shall we?" Curious to witness what Hino will do against Hanayama Karu.
Hino and Hanayama face each other silently in the school courtyard, sizing each other up.
The two lock eyes intensely. Hanayama greets Hino with a calm "good morning," sending nearby students scattering in shock. Hanayama mocks Hino's confidence, pointing out the large X-shaped scar on his face, saying it could be what's giving him that confidence, and calling it simple.
Hanayama declares that a scar is merely evidence of poor defense, proof you couldn't protect yourself, dismissing it as neither intimidating nor cool.
Hanayama, identifying himself as a martial artist, tells Hino his scar is just a mistake, and bluntly declares, "You messed up." Hino's companions urge him to fight back, but Hino simply responds, "It's as you say," admitting the truth of Hanayama's words. Hanayama continues psychologically pressuring Hino, acknowledging he has good sense, but predicting he'll quit the moment he thinks he's beaten.
Hanayama notices Hino's expensive Berluti shoes and mocks him as a spoiled rich kid hiding behind luxury clothing.
Hino calmly explains his oversized pants are because no uniform fit his body type, then suddenly launches a kick.
Hino delivers a powerful, straight punch directly to Hanayama's solar plexus in a full-body strike. Hino lands what he believes is a solid hit, the same solar plexus strike he'd landed countless times before. But this time, the feedback feels completely different, like hitting a massive tire. Hino's mind flashes to an image of enormous mining equipment tires. That's how impossibly solid Hanayama's body felt. Bystanders are stunned. Hanayama, barely affected, staggers slightly, while Hino's group gulps in disbelief. Hanayama, unmoved, continues monologuing, calling Hino a leech off rich parents, wearing flashy shoes, while Hino's expression grows unreadable. Hino explodes in fury, screaming, "Are you a goddamn Yakuza?" shocking everyone watching, including the principal. Hino's body instinctively senses the coming counterattack, every cell screaming, "He's coming," as Hanayama closes in. Hanayama's shoe, massive like a crescent blade, sweeps toward Hino, and in that instant, Hino's body recognizes the overwhelming difference in power between them. Hino's wide-eyed terror and a rapid blur of motion culminate in a thunderous roar echoing across the entire school grounds, the outcome of the confrontation reverberating through the neighborhood. Hanayama stands over the downed Hino, who is crouched on the ground, the outcome of the confrontation clear, with Hanayama looming above saying, "It's..." Onlookers are stunned. Some dismiss it as Hino simply giving up, while Hanayama looks down with a smirk, and Hino crouches with his head in his hands in the darkness. Shortly after, Hino approaches Hanayama and concedes, "As you say," then voluntarily turns in his corporal punishment license to the school administration. Hino formally retires from teaching. The incident triggers repeated Ministry of Education meetings, ultimately leading to a nationwide crackdown on teachers using excessive physical discipline, all because Hino had been nicknamed the Tower of Terror. Corporal punishment licenses are revoked across the country. After only 6 months, the policy is abandoned entirely. The principal comments, "It's a shame since Hino was capable," while the older administrator smiles and says he never liked violent types, then adds, "Actually." A new chapter begins. Hanayama is seen preparing to attend swim practice, his enormous scarred and tattooed torso revealed, shocking his subordinate, who can't believe he's seriously going to school swim class. Hanayama examines himself in a mirror wearing only a fundoshi, traditional loincloth, his massive Yakuza tattoo fully visible across his back, casually remarking he might stand out a little. His subordinate panics. The issue isn't just standing out, it's the full-body tattoo that would be completely exposed at the school pool. The subordinate insists the tattoo is the real problem. Even gyms and saunas refuse entry to people with ink these days, and urges Hanayama to just skip swim class entirely. Hanayama flatly refuses to skip class. His subordinate warns him that showing up to the pool looking like that means his life as a normal student is over. Hanayama dismisses the warning. "Don't threaten me," then strides away. A visitor named Kizaki, identified as the second chairman, arrives and presents something formally. Kizaki, a composed and imposing man, offers Hanayama a gift on a tray. The subordinate nervously identifies him as the second chairman. Kizaki presents what he calls an appropriate swimsuit for the second chairman. Hanayama examines it with a silent, contemplative expression. At the school pool, students complain loudly about the cold weather, unwilling to swim. The swim teacher calls everyone to line up regardless. Students grumble and joke by the poolside. Then a massive bare foot steps into frame, silencing the scene. The swim teacher stares in silent disbelief. Hanayama appears at the pool in a full-body competition swimsuit that covers his tattoos entirely. Wearing a swim cap and goggles, students gasp in shock at the sight. Students burst out laughing and exclaim over his top-of-the-line competition swimsuit, asking where he even found it. The swim teacher asks where the school-issued one is, and Hanayama quietly says, "Yes," in response. The teacher asks if Hanayama forgot his school-issued suit. Hanayama, unfazed, simply states he is going for a record. The teacher asks which record he's going for. Hanayama, completely serious, answers, "The swimming record." The teacher asks for a show of hands from anyone who was on the swim team in middle school. 2 students, Koga and Urakawa, raise their hands, and a third, named Kitajima, is also called out as the teacher begins assessing the class. The swim teacher asks Kitajima if he was also on his school's swim team. Kitajima pushes back, asking why he's being dragged into this. The teacher grins and reveals Kitajima competed in and won the junior high All-Japan swim meet. Kitajima confirms he won the national meet. The teacher sets up a challenge. Hanayama must at least place second against Kitajima in the 25-meter freestyle, or he'll be forced to change into a school swimsuit immediately. Both competitors take their positions on the starting blocks. The teacher warns Hanayama that swimming isn't just another domain he can dominate with brute strength. Kitajima, an experienced competitive swimmer, confidently tells him he's dead wrong, and that one look at his build proves he'll never keep up. The race starts with a go. Both racers hit the water hard. Something is immediately wrong. Hanayama is seen clenching his fist underwater, struggling, as onlookers cry out in confusion. Hanayama launches off the block and crashes through the starting platform with explosive force, then plunges into the water. The teacher mutters, "You amateur," as shocked classmates look on. Hanayama enters the water like a missile, generating a towering geyser, declaring he won't allow Kitajima to get even 10 meters ahead. Kitajima surfaces beside him, stunned. An aerial view shows Hanayama's entry has created a massive shockwave that turns the entire pool into violent, churning white water, with students scattering from the poolside. Students are thrown back by the waves as Hanayama tears through the water with raw power. His massive arm pulls through the water with a caption reading, "Swimming is?" Kitajima is already being overtaken and rocked sideways. Hanayama keeps plowing forward. Just this, as his sheer momentum physically launches Kitajima and another swimmer completely out of the pool. Stunned classmates scream that students are being flung out of the water. Hanayama charges forward relentlessly. Moving forward! The pool erupts into chaos, resembling heavy seas. Students scream and drown at the edges, while Hanayama, goggle-eyed, keeps swimming with pure, unstoppable force. Students are gasping and choking at the surface, fighting to stay afloat. Hanayama, grimacing intensely, continues barreling through the turbulent water without stopping. The aftermath. 2 swimmers are beached on the poolside, one nearly drowned, while others collapsed around the edge. The aerial view shows the pool still churning wildly, with bodies scattered around the perimeter. The final page closes Volume 1. A weather broadcast-style caption reads, "It's a clear, beautiful day in Tokyo, but be aware, some areas are experiencing heavy seas." Hanayama, dripping and panting, rises from the devastated pool.
ending the volume on a darkly comedic note.